we've come to the end of the NFL season, and the Buffalo Bills have been unable to put forth a winning season again. Very disappointing for us as fans, but now it's time to move towards the future. This is what the Buffalo Bills are going to need to do. The weaknesses on this team are, I think, as follows. I think they need to strengthen their interior line. Jeff Hargardner is not a starting center in the NFL. I believe they need to move Eric Wood to the center position and look for a strong addition at the right guard position and also a permanent fixture at the right tackle. I think you need a strong presence there. I think Demetrius Bell has earned the right, him and Andy Levitre, to be your starters on the left side. I think the right side of the line, along with moving Eric Wood permanently to the center position, will help solidify your offensive line. Also, the tight end position. What a position that has been a great disappointment to the Buffalo Bills. Stupar has only been the only serviceable tight end that you've really had this year. David Martin has been there, but they haven't thrown him the ball. And I don't think they've included the tight end in this offense. And I think that's a major mistake of Chan Gailey and getting reacclimated to the NFL. Most teams that are successful learn to use their tight end. And I think the Buffalo Bills need to find a tight end that can stretch the field and can also block. David Martin has been a decent blocker, and Stupar has been a decent blocker, but they have not used him in the offense the way that I think they should. Other side of the offensive side of the ball, this is a part that I think most of us need to realize, that Lee Evans is one of the most respected people in that locker room. He's one of the most respected people in the NFL. But his production has not been there to earn a salary of $9.6 million in comparison to now number one receiver Stevie Johnson, who was a 7th-round pick and who's going into the 4th year of a 7th-round pick contract. Either the Bills need to redo his contract after the CBA agreement is done, and they need to either ask Lee Evans to take a pay cut or restructure his contract, or possibly end up releasing Lee Evans, because you can't afford to pay a receiver that kind of money and only getting the production that you're getting at the number one position. That's when you roll the dice in the NFL. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, the Bills have attempted to re-sign Dante Whitner, and apparently he has desired to make more money than his production on the field has made him deserving of. I think what the Bills need to do is re-sign the Senator George Wilson along with Brian Scott, and go back into the draft and find another safety. Unfortunately, they had a safety they were hiding on the practice squad, Dominique Harris, who I thought was the perfect person to move into that position, along with Brian Scott and George Wilson and Dominique Harris. I think would have been the perfect threesome at the safety position going into next year. At the defensive back position, we're probably going to have to either add a corner, because Drayton Florence is a free agent, whether or not the Bills are going to re-sign him because he's getting up in age as a cornerback, or they're going to have to look in the draft to find somebody to replace him. I think you can re-sign Ashton Yabodi for a minimum amount, keep Reggie Corner, and also you still have Leotis McKelvin, who needs to step up his game, being a high-level first-round pick who has not played at the level he needs to be. And hopefully Terrence McGee can come back and be healthy next year and be back in form. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, too, they need two outstanding pass rushers coming off the edge. I think they found a person in Arthur Moats, but now they need to find another person. Whether Sean Merriman can come back and be healthy, he'll be a free agent, and whether the Bills even want to take a chance on bringing him back remains to be seen. But if Sean Merriman is healthy, I think you need to take a look at him and try to sign him to a year contract with the possibility of giving him an extended agreement sometime in the not-too-near-distant future. Now, the defensive line is where we need the most help. I think we need to look at Robert Quinn as a guy you need to take a look at, who's a defensive end / outside linebacker for North Carolina this year. He's coming out in the draft. This is a guy the Buffalo Bills could move immediately into the starting lineup and make a huge difference. This is a guy you got to take a look at. Now, the interior of the line, I think you're going to have to find some guys like Kendrick Ellis out of Hampton University. This is a huge nose tackle. This is a guy that's 342 pounds, 6'5", that could possibly be plugged in with Terrell Troop in the middle of that line along with Kyle Williams. I think Marcus Stroud has seen his best days, and the Bills will probably have to move forward from him. He's making pretty good money, but I don't see the production there, and I think the Buffalo Bills will release Marcus Stroud in the offseason. But the CBA agreement is the biggest thing. We'll be keeping you up to date with the CBA agreement with our weekly sports updates. As we move into the Super Bowl, we're going to be reporting live from Radio Row, get things firsthand, and bring them back to you with our weekly sports updates each and every week. I'm the Mighty OB'a. We'll see you next week again with our weekly sports update here on clbTV and 1080 AM WUFO Radio, and we'll see you next week with our weekly sports update. I am the Mighty OB'a.